Why do you think men struggle with asking for help?
Because when they do, they turn into a meme. That's why. I mean, because society makes it seem like a man being in tune with his emotions is a weak man. So a lot of men hold it in because they don't want to be made fun of. This is why there's a higher rate of suicide in males than females, because of that exact reason. Because
Welcome to the show where stories unfold.
Let's go.
People doing big things, breaking the mold. They're changing the game, making waves every day.
Big move.
Shining bright with the work that is right.
Shine on.
This is Breaking the Silence with Nick
Nick go in the building.
Unleash your inner voice and make some
Turn
noise.
up.
Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast with Arthur, Nick, Nicole. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your neighbor to come over here and break the silence with Arthur, Nick, Nicole. Welcome to another powerful episode. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence. I'm your host, Arthur, Nick, and Nicole. This show began with my voice starting to come out of its shell. What started as a simple expression of thought soon became a powerful platform for healing, connection, and truth. Breaking the Silence is all about shining a light on amazing people doing great things. Those who lead with love, with purpose, and speak with power. So today, I'm joined by the amazing Meek, the host of the Breakin Bread Podcast, a true voice of inspiration, change, and empowerment. Daily, y'all, he motivates and uplifts people. So lean in a little bit because this conversation just might stir something in your soul. So after his countdown, please welcome this amazing guy to the Breaking the Silence platform. Hey, Meek.
hello. I'm
How
not
you
even
doing?
going to lie to you, man. After seeing your intro and everything, I gotta step my game up because you had me in awe just now. Like, yo, I really, for real, I was like, yo, I got to get to that point because your intros for me and also for the music that you had in the background, yo, that's dope. So before
Thank
we
you.
even go any further, I gotta give you your flowers for that, man. That's dope for real. Seriously.
Thank you. Listen. That takes years. Listen, I'm only almost 2 years into it. It just takes you just doing it. Practice, practice,
Yeah,
practice,
yeah,
practice, practice.
yeah.
That's it. But thank you. Thank you so much for coming to be a part of my platforms and allowing me to shine a light on you because you deserve your flowers too.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you.
So tell everybody a little bit about Meek. Who is Meek?
Oh man, that is a wow, a good question. Well, for starters, I wasn't always the person you see in front of you right now. I had a very dark past. I did a lot of good. I also did a lot of bad as well, and it took me years to get to this point of calmness, because majority of my life was surrounded around anger, drama and animosity. And one day I just said to myself, I got tired of living that way. I started praying a lot more, and I started realizing that the basis of my anger was the lack of communication that I had with people. And sometimes I had to realize and say to myself, if you're trying to communicate with somebody and they're not listening to you, you're talking to the wrong person, you know? Because being in that element and being in that environment, all it's going to do is continue to upset you more and more and more to the point where you shut down. And then when you get to a point like that in your life, that's a no-no. So to answer your question in a nutshell, Meek is a man of many layers, but has a sweet core.
I like how you put that now. Many
Yeah.
layers, but a
Yes.
sweet core. Okay, okay. So now,
Yes.
when did you fall in love with the mic?
For me, to be honest with you, it started during the pandemic for me. It was one of those, I was bored, nothing to really do. You couldn't really be around nobody. You weren't allowed to go outside. So one day I was just sitting there and I said to myself, yo, I'm bored, man. Let me just go on Facebook Live and just see what could happen. And it started becoming very therapeutic for me because, like I said, I really couldn't communicate with other people. I wasn't able to communicate as a child. So I was made to feel like my voice really didn't matter. So I just kept everything in. So that's when I started doing the Breaking Bread podcast. And at first it was one of those, I'm kind of bored, but then it started into a everyday kind of thing. I started meeting new people, having connections. And then what really did it for me was one day a guy from Russia, and I still have this message in my email. And he said, "I just want to thank you for creating your podcast because watching your podcast and your inspirational words talked me up the ledge of committing suicide." And at that point, I said to myself, even if this doesn't turn into a lucrative thing in the sense of me making money off it, I'm helping somebody. And for
Yes,
me, being a fellow Pisces like yourself, we thrive off that.
yes,
you
yes.
know so at that point I said to myself, I'm onto something, and I just stuck with it.
Alignment, boy, alignment is so real, and
Hmm.
people don't understand that. That same thing. Now you received the email. I was actually on a live episode.
Hmm.
Me and Shira Renee, actually, my sister, we was on a live episode, and it was I think that was her first episode on the podcast. And
Okay.
somebody came in the comments and she said she was about to commit suicide.
What? Wow.
And
Wow.
she stopped and looked at my episode. And from that at that day and that moment after that episode, I couldn't wait to get off it. I reached out to her and
Hmm.
I actually talked to her, after the episode and let her get everything she needed to get out and everything and calmed her down to a point. And we still talk to this day.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
So you're right. That right there makes you say, you know what? If I don't make a dollar from it, it's worth it.
It's
I
worth
saved
it.
a
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
Saved a life. See, I was getting ready to ask you what was your turning point, that made you realize podcasting was more than just a hobby, but you already answered that question. So now,
Yeah. Yeah.
where did the name Breaking Bread come from?
To be honest with you, you know how some people have this crazy spectacular story. For me, I just was sitting there one day and I said to myself, I need to, okay, if I want to do this podcasting thing, I need a name. And I just sat there and I said, Breaking Bread. So I ran it past a couple of people and they said, yo, I like that. And it just stuck. So it wasn't like I sat there, was writing names down. I said, oh, I don't like that. Let me cross that out. Oh, I don't like that. Let me cross that out. No, it was just sat there and just thought to myself, what would be a catchy podcast name? And I came up with Breaking Bread and it just stuck. So
Yes. Now, you and I both know that there can be some challenging parts of podcasting, there can be some rewarding parts of podcasting. What has been the most memorable or impactful connection that you've made through podcasting?
for me, a good question. 'Cause I have so many, but I want to narrow it down to about one or two. A memorable moment was when I actually did 20, what was it? The 2022 wrap up. Basically, the basis of that podcast was just talking about the events that happened, throughout that year. And I came across a lovely person. Her name is Preezy. She has a podcast. It's called Listen Up, Listen In. And also Young Squala, he has a podcast as well, Squala Reloaded. And at that moment, meeting those people, now we're tight as ever. We speak all the time. We check on each other. Whenever he has a podcast, I would share it. Like same thing I kind of do with you. So for me, that was good because I met lifelong friends out of it. It wasn't just a business thing for me. At that point, I said, good. I'm making connections with good people. So that's what made that podcast in particular great.
Nice. So now, what challenges have you faced on this journey? Because for me, the most difficult challenge in podcasting has to be time zones.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
yours?
For me, getting the people to actually commit with the podcast because I'm
Mm.
about to start stealing a page out of your book. Because what
Uh-oh.
I would do is I would say, okay, we're going to be live at this time. Be here at this time. They don't show up.
They don't. It make you look
So
bad.
exactly. So I'm doing the promotion. I'm saying tune in for Breaking Bread. Today's guest is going to be such and such. I'm making videos Monday to Friday, gearing them up, getting them ready for Sunday. And then Sunday comes, where they at? Then people are messaging me, yo, what happened to the podcast? Oh, I'm sorry, man. They didn't show up. It actually happened to me recently, like about maybe a month or so ago.
Wow.
And I said to myself, oh my God, what am I going to do? And as I'm getting closer to that live, people started messaging me, yo, I can't wait to see the show. And I didn't know what to do. So I said, let me just go live myself. And the questions I was going to ask that person, I ended up answering from my perspective. So
Yep.
the main thing
Yep.
for me is just people committing.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm big on that. If I know I can't make a show, I'm going to tell you a day in advance, 2 days in advance. I'm not going to tell you 5 minutes before we're supposed to go live. Oh, by the way, I can't be on the show. What? So you telling
Right.
me you just knew this 5 minutes ago?
Okay.
Come on now. Come on now.
But it's real though, and that's another reason why I love the live because I did like the live interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But at least if you pre-record, you don't have to deal with the are you going live from your audience or are you
Mm-hmm.
having to go live?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you have to go live because you have to tell them something, but you can't
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, well, so and so didn't show up. You just got to go live and just like normal. So
Mm-hmm.
that took away
Mm-hmm.
that from me making them look bad and them making me look bad. So if they don't
Yeah.
show up for a pre-recording, then guess what? They don't show up.
They don't show
No
up for the
love lost.
pre-recording. No love lost.
No love
Exactly.
lost.
That's why I said I'm gonna start doing that because that makes perfect sense because now your audience knows on this
Yes.
day there's always going to be a show.
It's going to be there because guess what? It's already done.
Exactly my point. This is why I said I'm gonna steal a page out of your book, man.
Look, I didn't start doing it. I haven't always been on the pre-recording realm. My sister,
Yeah.
it took a while for me to get there. My sister was like, "Once you pre-record," I was like, "I never pre-record." Look at me now.
hmm Look at you now. Exactly. Look at you
Ooh,
now. But it helps you out, and it,
yes,
it it continues the creation of your content
you can
because now,
manipulate
like
it
I
more.
said, exactly my point. Exactly my point.
If
Because
you want to
I
pull
like
an
the
episode, you can.
exactly. I like the live element as well, but once that started happening to me frequently, I said, you know what?
Yeah,
Maybe let me start trying to dabble in the pre-record and see where it goes. Because actually, I'm actually doing a podcast titled "This Is My Life," and the last two episodes, 3 and 4, are pre-recorded.
nice, nice.
And it relieved me because now I know in case if I forget, I always make sure I schedule it to premiere
Schedule
at
it.
this time. So
See,
I'm
learn.
about
See,
to
you
start
live, you
doing that.
learn. You live, you
Exactly.
learn. You got, but see, that was the
Exactly.
deal breaker for me. I was like, all right, so they're not showing up. All right, but I didn't let it happen just one time. I let it happen so many times it wasn't even funny. And then I
Yeah.
was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, it's time to come up out of this live element. I'm just gonna go to pre-record only.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then if you have hiccups in your recordings, you can fix them. Nobody
Exactly.
ever saw it. So it became to be, a little bit more easier for me. Now, if everything good, all you gotta do is download and keep it moving.
They keep it moving. Exactly. Put it where it's supposed to go. Let it be scheduled to premiere at that time. Then,
Do your clips and call it a day.
hmm
That's it. That's
hmm
it. So how now you have topics on your podcast? How do you decide on what topics or themes for each episode?
to be completely 100% transparent and honest with you, whatever comes to my brain,
Hmm?
to be honest with you, because for me, my brain is always going a million miles per minute. So I have so many thoughts in my head to the point where to relieve the pressure of having so much stuff clogged into my brain, I write it down.
You that's that Pisces in you.
Yeah.
That's that Pisces in you.
Yeah,
Steady
man.
running, steady running. Be like,
Yeah,
how can I
and
get this
it's
out?
exactly. So for me, it's just whatever I think of, because I like to think about thought-provoking conversation, thought-provoking topics, and thought-provoking questions. One thing about my questions, everything is original. It comes from the dome. I don't look up nothing or any question ideas. I like to be 100% original with my questions. So everything comes from here.
You be stirring the pot too, 'cause with some of those topics, you be stirring the pot now.
Yeah, I like to do that. I like to create
Oh,
atmosphere where we can have agreements and disagreements, but we're not going to disrespect each other.
okay,
You know,
okay.
you
Let's
don't
not
have
do
to
that.
agree with what I'm saying, but exactly, we're not going to do that, especially on my platform. If that's what you want to do on yours, go right ahead. You'll never see me on your platform because I don't disrespect people. But on mine's, we're going to agree to disagree, have an adult dialect and a conversation, and take it from there.
Because I believe it was on one topic you had about baby fathers one time, and I said, "Now Meek about to stir the pot with this one." Now,
Yeah. Yup.
I kept watching them comments. I was like, "Lord, somebody go get him in these comments."
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm all for that because I like to conversate. Like I said, even though I'm an introvert, I do actually like to conversate and hear people's perspective because sometimes those perspectives can make you look at it from a different
Yes,
situation or a different
yes.
angle versus from a biased situation or a biased angle. So I'm all for that.
Yes, it keeps you neutral too because you
Hmm
can sometimes you don't see it that way. Sometimes we see things in one way, but then we get this other person's perspective, then we're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. I never thought
hmm
about it that way. But I agree. I
hmm
like I like I can't really do topics. I used to do the debate nights. Now I do Twisted Tuesdays. But I used to do debate nights, but people that's live interaction. You got to have live interaction for that to make it
hmm
really pop. But I stopped doing it. So next question. What's something that you've learned about yourself through podcasting that you never expected?
That I had the ability to help people through what I say.
Mm,
That's one of the things that made me realize I'm doing the right thing because I always seen myself from a child all the way into my adult years as being a failure, that
mm,
nobody would expect anything good to come from me, from what I do, or from what I say. But then once I
mm.
started doing this podcasting and I started speaking, a lot of people were receptive to what I would say. They would share some of my stuff. They would comment and say, "Wow, I didn't think about it like that. Wow, keep doing your thing." And that's when I learned my voice matters. There's somebody out there listening to what I'm saying to themselves, "Thank you, Meek." And like I'm about to get emotional, man. Like I just feel like so many people that are out there suffer from the same thing that I suffered from. They're afraid to speak. They're always deemed at or looked at as being bad, that they feel like their voice doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you, your voice matters. Your voice matters. Speak because I'm grateful. Because to be honest with you, like I said, I've done so many things in my life that I shouldn't even really be here, man. So I'm taking this opportunity to say to God, thank you for not checking me out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to help others that been through what I went through at that point in my life. So yeah, long story short, just I realized my voice mattered, and that's what let me know keep doing this, man.
You walking in your
Seriously.
purpose.
Hmm
That's it. When you start walking in your purpose, then you have the strength to do anything. And that's
Exactly.
that's where I'm at right now. Like I'm an introvert. People probably don't think. A lot of people think I'm not. I'm very shy.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm very shy. Like I'm real shy. If I met you in person, and now me and you became, I'll probably sitting there looking like you, like, hey, and
Word. What are we gonna talk about today? I don't
yeah,
know.
it won't be nothing else to say. Like I'm really that shy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like you said, knowing that your voice matters. I had somebody share a post from when I not even when I was I podcasting then? I wasn't even podcasting at this time. I was just motivating. I was every morning I would do a word of the day
Hmm.
before I go to work. And somebody shared that and said Arthur, Nick, and Nicole is still relevant today.
Mm.
Blew my mind, Meek.
Blew
I was
your
like,
mind. Hmm.
oh my God, really? You listening? So I can definitely relate to that, that knowing that, coming from the same place, being in the shell, not able to really get out there and talk to people, not even to the point where I sit in a room full of people and won't say anything, just observe people. I
Hmm.
wouldn't,
Hmm.
observe how they move, observe how they, I wouldn't say anything. But now I'm learning to get in them rooms and talk. But
Exactly.
but you
Exactly.
like you said, when you a person that don't think your voice matters, it's hard for you to come out that shell.
It's hard. It really, even me being 38 years old, like sometimes when I'm in a room full of people I don't know, it's like I want to say something, but then that little voice in my head says, "Oh, just be quiet. Don't
Mm,
they might not care." That little voice, I'm trying to learn to shut up because I need to speak. If I'm in a room full of people having a conversation, I'm not just gonna sit there and just look at them. I'm gonna speak. So I'm still struggling with that, but I'm doing
Me too.
a little bit better, you know?
I done
So
started choking it. Shut up.
yeah, shut, be quiet.
Girl,
You talk
you
too
gotta
much.
you gotta grab around the neck, me. Just grab.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just
oh, you be
grab them,
quiet. I'm
yeah.
leave you home next time. Oh my God. I'm down to the last question.
All right.
This is an out of the box question.
Okay.
If you could invite any guest, alive or dead, to your podcast for a conversation, who would it be? And what would you ask them?
There's only one. Oh, oh man. Wow. I like that question. Oh man. Honestly, I would say my father. And I would hope, well, him being a Capricorn, they're very transparent and they don't have a problem speaking. So it would be my father because my father passed away when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he was 41. He had a brain aneurysm. Yeah, and he didn't really play a focal point in my life, you know. He would be around sporadically and would disappear. He would be around for 2 years, disappear for six, be around, so forth and so forth. And the last conversation I had with him before he died was, "Yo, Pops, why wasn't you around?" And the last thing he said to me, "The next time I'm going to see you, I'm going to answer all your questions." And that was the last conversation I had with him.
Wow.
So I would have him on my podcast and I would ask him that same question.
Mm.
Yeah.
My father died when I was 15, when I was 15 too. That's why I
Wow,
said,
really?
wow. Yeah. From a stroke.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Alignment.
Oh
That's why I said alignment
man.
be so real. Sometimes
15?
be
Oh
scary.
yeah.
Wow. So
Jeez.
now, so now we're gonna play with a segment I enter into the podcast now.
Okay.
It's called Would You Rather. So I'm gonna play the countdown. When we come back, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna ask you 4 questions.
Okay.
It's gonna be a choice between one or the other. Would you rather do the other? So
Okay.
I'm gonna play the countdown. When we come back, we're gonna get back to it.
All right.
Okay. First question. Would you rather master any skill for 24 hours or take a year to learn it forever?
Take a year to learn it forever.
Why?
Because I probably wouldn't respect the fact if I can master it in 24 hours because there
Mm.
wasn't really no process to learn it. Like, for example, if somebody was to give you $1 million, you'll spend it like that. But if you had to work hard for that $1 million, you'll say to yourself, let me be a little bit frugal towards what I spend it on. So, yeah.
Boom. There you go. All right. So would you rather have one day of travel anywhere you want to go or stay in one place forever?
One day of traveling wherever I wanted to go,
Where would it be?
to heaven to see all my loved ones.
Nice.
Yeah. 'Cause I have a
Nice.
lot of them up there that I miss dearly. So it would be to go to heaven.
Nice. I love it. All right. So would you rather be able to read minds or control them?
Hmm. I mean, this is because at one point in my life, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a narcissist, so that's why I'm laughing. Because if you'd have asked me this back then, I would have said control their minds,
Mm.
hands down. But now that I'm older, I would say read their minds,
Yeah, I want to
so
know
I
what they're
can
thinking.
know. Yeah, I want to know what they feel and how they feel, and maybe I can help them towards what they're feeling, whether it may be negative or positive. So I would say read their minds.
Growth. That's what that's called. Growth. You said back then.
Hmm.
It's called growth. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So last one.
Okay.
Would you rather have unlimited time or unlimited money?
Mm, unlimited time. The reason
Mm.
why I say unlimited time because if I have unlimited time and so okay, so when you say unlimited time, meaning like you can live forever or
Mm, I guess live forever.
okay, so I definitely will go with the unlimited time because I can learn how to get the money.
I know that's right. With the
You
unlimited
know,
time, you give me the
I'm,
time, I can make the money.
yeah, I'm going to learn how to make the money. So I would rather unlimited time, man. All
I'm with
day,
you right there.
all
I'm
day.
with you. I can give me the time. I'm gonna make that money. I get it.
Yeah,
I agree
exactly.
with that one. You crazy. All right, so now it's time for the light to shine completely on you. This is what I like to call the BTS 30 seconds of fame. So after the countdown, tell them how to follow your journey, where to when your episodes air, and whatever you want to tell them about, 2025, what you got coming up, and drop some advice for some of these podcasts. So some of us need
I
somebody
got
to
you.
follow out here. So
I
after the
got you.
countdown, spotlight is on you.
All right, people, you can follow me on Instagram, Breaking Bread, no G, underscore 2020. And also, you can follow me on YouTube, Breaking Bread, no G, no spaces in between, underscore 2020 as well. And my podcast usually airs every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. So look out for that. And the advice I would give for podcasters is be authentic, be yourself. Of course, watch other podcasters to like, see what certain things you can use to help you shine, to help you wield your craft in a way. Don't copy nobody, be original and have a purpose. If you're just doing this just to do it, most likely it's really not going to work out for you. You understand? Because I feel the authenticity that you bring to podcasting will ultimately make you who you are and take you where you need to be. So that's all I got for y'all. As always, spread love, not hate, chase our dreams.
I was going to say you got to say your famous slogan now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I said he not gonna say it. But thank you so much for coming and supporting me and allowing me to shine the light on you. You already know where we at. If you need me, let me know. I got you.
I do want to say something real quick though. I just want to thank you for honoring me with the possibility of being podcaster of the year. I always wanted to thank you for that because I was not expecting that. I seen the video. Breaking Bread. I said, did you say my name? It's like, for real? She's really gonna honor me with that? I said, oh my God. And I seen the video from the one you had last year. Dope.
Yeah, we had fun. Let
Dope.
me tell you something. That event, whew, it took me through, but it got me
Mm-hmm.
through. But I made it. I made it.
Mm-hmm.
Planning an event is not easy.
Yeah.
Believe me, because I had so many people to say they were coming that didn't come. I had so many people that bailed on it at the last minute, so it was just a lot of
Mm.
changes along the way, but we had a good time. It was really a vibe. It really was. So hopefully next year be bigger and better. We'll see.
Yes. Yes.
Let's see. Pulling out the red carpet for real next year for all the
Oh man,
nominees.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Look, we were a couple of days away from the final of for everybody to be announced. So hopefully people out there voting. Y'all better share, share, share. We only got a couple more days.
Couple more days. Share, share, share. Yes.
Yeah, share, share. But also, thank you, thank you, thank you. You already know we locked in. And if you need me on this end, I got you. I
Appreciate you.
got
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
you. You're welcome. And thank you to everybody else out there tuning into this amazing episode. Y'all heard all the gems drop. He always dropping some gems, y'all. Y'all gotta make sure y'all follow his journey because it's an amazing journey. He's always uplifting people every single day. Literally. I'm like, he live again. I always miss it. I have to watch the replays because I'm like, he always live. But I'm gonna get like him. I'm gonna start going live a little bit more. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make no promises, but I'm gonna try. But thank you so much for everybody out there that tuned into another episode of Breaking the Silence. I hope today's episode has inspired you to speak your truth, own your voice, and keep pushing forward. So remember, your story matters. Your voice has the power, and the world is waiting on who? You. Waiting on you. So until next time, keep breaking the silence and keep being a powerful voice. Later. Thanks for watching another episode of Breaking the Silence. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.
I did an interview recently with Nikki, who is the owner of Breaking the Silence podcast. When I tell you that was one of the best interviews I have ever experienced. Nikki was very personal, what she does to the community and how she lets everyone come in and talk about their brand and what they do and how they help the community. I'm telling you, it was one of the best interviews I have done in a very long time. Definitely reach out to Nikki, get to watch her podcast, watch her seasons. Even if you want to try to be on there, definitely hit her up and try to, promote your brand. But what she does is amazing. Nikki, I thank you for the opportunity. I had a really, really, really good time. Thank you so much.